In section 4.1, we're going to focus on completing reflections. We're going to reflect across a vertical line or horizontal line, and then this line, y equals x. So in the first example, they give us this quadrilateral that has these vertices. And that is what I went ahead and plotted on this, or this one was already plotted for me. It asked me to graph the image under each reflection and then determine those new coordinates. So first off, you want to find out where y equals -1 is. Y equals -1 means you're going to go to the y-axis at -1, and you want to draw a line that crosses through it. So this means you're going to have a horizontal line at y equals -1. Now it's the same thing that we already practiced with reflections. You're going to count to that line and then away from it. But the biggest thing is just making sure you know how to draw in that line. So that means I would take R, count to it. So 1, 2, count away. 1, 2. So here would be R prime. For S, do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now notice that your scaling is going by 2, so that's why I'm counting in between on this one. For V, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for T, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then notice now, if you look at your picture, it is flipped across. So this was on top and now it's on the bottom, and same with this. So it should be flipping across there. Okay, so let's look at another one. So if I have x equals -2, that means that you would go to the x-axis at -2, draw your line that crosses through it. Okay, it will not make sense for you to put it on top of an axis, because otherwise they would say do the x-axis like we did in the previous section. So make sure your line is crossing through it. So same as before, once you have that line, count to it. So I'm still going by 2's based off my graph. So 2, 4, 2, 4. 2, 4, 2, 4. This guy's in between, so I'm going to count by ones now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this was T. And then V doing the same thing. 7 to it, 7 away. And then you can draw in your picture and see that you have flipped it across and it looks correct. Pause the video and try the check question. Oh, I'm sorry. I also forgot to mention that you needed to fill in your coordinates. Just to remember that when you fill in your coordinates, you want to start from the origin. So R prime would be +2, and then my y coordinate would be -3. And then the same for the rest, and the same that I did over here. So my R prime over here would be -6, +1. Now pause the video and try the check question. So in the check question, it asked you to go across x equals 3. So I went to the x-axis at 3, drew my line, and then I extended my graph so that I could count to it and away from it, and then found the coordinates that matched up with it. So my C prime was all the way over here at 5, 4, so that's why it had to be this guy. So that's why C is your answer. All right, one more here. So this last one is showing you how we're going to reflect across the line y equals x. Winona is designing a logo for her blog header. She graphs a figure on the coordinate plane and wants to reflect it in the line y equals x to complete the basic shape for her logo design. What are the coordinates of those vertices? So if you notice, this is the original because it's labeled A, B, C, D, E. This is the image because it has those primes on it. Okay? So it's wanting to know the coordinates of the image. So all I did was I just wrote down the coordinates of that image. Now the true idea here that you want to be able to understand is how do you graph across to y equals x? And all you have to do is flip them around. So at A, I was at negative 2, 1. So notice that if I flip it around, I'm at 1, negative 2. So that would be your reflection across this slanted line, y equals x. When B was at 1, 8, it's flipping it around, and so your reflection is now at 8, 1. For 1, 4, it would be at 4, 1. For 4, 4, still the same. And for E, it would still be the same. So when it's y equals x, all you have to do is flip around your x and your y coordinates so that it changes into that. Pause the video and see if you can figure out the check question. So in the check question, you had Thomas, who was designing a sculpture garden, and he was trying to figure out where to set 4 sculptures so that they were equidistant from the sidewalk. And notice the sidewalk, if you are on a coordinate plane, is this line y equals x. So therefore, if he's trying to make them equidistant, he's just wanting to reflect them across. So I found the coordinates of these 2 points. So Q was at 1, 3, X was at 2, 4. So if I want to reflect them across so that they are equidistant, that means, oh, that should be a Y. That means that if I flip X around, I would be at 4, 2. And if I switch around Q, I would be at 3, 1. So that's why your answer would be letter A. So again, if it asks you to reflect across y equals x, you're just applying that formula where you flip them around. So I would go 3, 1, and this guy would change to 4, 2. All right, that's a good review of reflecting across other lines besides the x and y axis.